Okay.
you were
Okay.
talking about on stage about how like all the guys that play the hobbits in that movie are not dwarves. They get like
Yeah.
shrunk down to, hobbit size
CGI.
and dwarf
Yeah.
size.
Yep.
And it was hilarious and it was hitting for everybody and you were killing with it. But I just remember you doing that bit. So I want to sort of revisit that all these years later and ask what you thought about that whole recent Peter Dinklage thing with the like Snow White and all that, and what they ended up doing, which I believe was
he's stretching
which
for
I believe
everybody that's
they
just
ended up.
listening. He's fucking stretching. He's doing the
Let's
shoulder
go.
shrugs.
They were gonna cast actual dwarves in the new Snow White, I think, and then
Yep.
along the way they changed course and they didn't do that and used
Yes.
CGI.
Now,
So
you know why they changed course?
is it
No.
because of Dinklage?
Yes.
Yes.
So,
Wow.
Right.
Peter Dinklage appeared on the Mark Maron podcast where they talked about they're making the new Snow White movie, and Dinklage said like, "Well, I hope they don't do this. Like, I hope they don't do the dwarf." I don't know the exact words, but he was essentially saying, "I hope they don't cast little people in that movie, so we do that whole thing again." And I'm sitting there as an actor going,
Right.
"What thing again? Make money and be in a
Right.
big time budget movie? Because that sounds nice.
We
can
all
do that
missed
once."
it.
Yeah, we didn't get we don't all have Game of Thrones money, Dink.
Right.
That's what I call him, Dink. Anyway, no, so they caved to that pressure, but then when they came back and said, "Hey, here's what we did instead," it was Snow White and the Seven Magical Beings. And if you Google what the dwarves were initially, like when it was Snow White and the Seven Magical Beings, they look like a drum circle at Chico State. Like it was a bunch of hippies of all races, genders, sizes. There was one actual dwarf in it, which cool, but like, and then everyone got outraged over that. So then they like redid it again, but this time made all. So it's dwarves, but they're all CGI dwarves,
Right.
which is like, oh, sweet. So we can exist. We just can't play ourselves.
We can't get the money.
Yeah, and it's like, listen, do I want a world where little people and all differently abled actors can play any part and not just the part of the dwarf, not just the blind guy, not just the amputee? Of course I do. We all want that.
Sure.
But I also know, looking at history in terms of what other minorities had to go through in Hollywood, the system kind of is, hey, you play the game for a while, you take the parts that are the stereotypical roles, which you don't really like, but they pay, and then you slowly assimilate in. And don't get me wrong, Dinklage did it. Dinklage freaking knocked it out of the park.
Sure.
And if you're like, well, Dinklage was never really like a stereotypical role, bullshit.
Bullshit.
Watch a movie called Tiptoes.
Tiptoes.
Oh
There
my
it is.
God,
That's
bro.
another